All right, so my Caprice, about 2 weeks ago, drove it somewhere, parked it, came back out an hour later, started it up, hard started, real on crank, didn't want to run, misfiring, acting all funny, and I was unsure exactly what happened because parked fine. So me being me, I was like, the Opti Spark probably took a crap. Didn't want to rev, didn't want to start, didn't want to run, just all kinds of stuff. So I ordered an Opti Spark. I got a Cardone because you can't get anything for these anymore. Nothing's factory. SD's one of the only company that makes a new one, or you got to buy a torque something or the other and convert it over to a coil on plug. And to me, it's an old school LT1 that's really not going to make a whole lot of power unless I go through its iron head. So started looking for motors. Motors are $750 to $1,000 depending on the condition they're in, and they're still an iron head motor. That's without aluminum heads. It'll cost me another $500 to get aluminum heads, $1,200 to $1,500 for an aluminum head motor. And if I'm going to swap the motor in it, that's what I'm going to do. So started thinking, and I got a little 4.8. It's a short block sitting over there. It's like, man, I'm going to put an LS in this thing. So started looking through it, figuring everything out. My goal, now you have to keep in mind I have a rotating assembly short block. My goal is to put an LS in this thing for under $1,000. This is calling up buddies. Hey, what LS parts you got laying around? I'm looking for a pretty stock motor. I'm not trying to make any major power. I have some LS stuff laying around that I've just accumulated. Nothing I'd really ever bought for a project. It was just, hey, I have these, do you want them? Hey, I ordered this and I got two, do you want one? I know you work on stuff. So that was a lot of what kind of brought this up. I started thinking about stuff that I had, and it was kind of like, I went and hit up some buddies. I had one buddy, he's pulled some 4.8s out of his trucks because my heads ended up on my buddy's truck. I don't have heads for my 4.8. So I hit up one buddy. He's got parts laying around. He'll give me whatever they got. He's getting stuff together. My other buddy that did the 6.0 swap on his 4.8, he's like, dude, you can come have my old 4.8. It's 230,000 miles, but it's been sitting outside for a year in the weather. So the block's probably junk, but my block is good, and I know my rotating assembly's good. So my goal is to throw a LS 4.8 in this thing for as cheap as possible. And I'm going to document it. I will literally show you receipts. I am putting some new parts in it because there are certain things that I don't believe just getting by with. Prime example, an oil pump. I'm not just going to leave a factory oil pump in it when I'm pulling a motor apart. I'm also not going to throw some $40 off-brand oil pump in it. If I'm putting an oil pump in it, I'm buying a Belling 295 or a 295 HV. So don't have a problem with used rockers or used valve springs. And one thing I do want to do is put valve springs in it just because of how weak the factory ones are. And then on top of that, like the motor I got's 230,000 miles with weak valve springs. So I'll look for a set of LS6 or LS7 valve springs. Nothing major, but a upgrade from what it was factory. I got a 6.0 cam floating around. I can throw the 6.0 cam in it. Depending on the gears, some had the same cam as 6.0, some didn't. But so here's my whole thing on my car. So it starts up, but I start driving, starts backfiring, popping through the intake. It's running rough on idle. It's shaking right now. It's just not acting right. I don't know if I bent some valves. It doesn't want to rev. I get it out on the road and flat to the floor, and this thing just goes blah. Let's figure out what it is. So my goal, LS swap it. I want the AC to work. Pretty sure I can still run this off of factory LS AC compressor, and I think it clears this frame. Maybe tight, but I think it'll clear. Read quite a few Facebook posts and stuff like that, and some B-body groups that I'm in that guys have done it, and it's able to be done. There's a few things you got to do, but nothing that I'm not used to. So bought a little truck. Just bought that to replace my daughter's Tiguan because I hate that Tiguan and I'm done working on it. So that's going to be her truck. She gets her license tomorrow, so she'll be able to start driving this. There's that little 4.8. It's just a little 4.8, 230,000 miles. Went over and saw that buddy. He hooked me up. He gave me a set of like gaskets. He gave me the alternator bracket set up with the power steering pump, which I needed the power steering pump. Still need an alternator. I'll find one. I'll buy a new timing chain and gear for it. I'll do a Silos Close, whatever that brand is. Those are pretty inexpensive and they're decent parts. But not trying to do a cam, not trying to do lifters, not trying to do push rods, trunnion kit. I'm building a very much stock or really close to stock 4.8. That's all I want to put in it right now. My goal is to get it running on that. I have an LS PCM from an LS swap from another buddy that he gave me. I got to get VATs deleted off of it. I'll do a base tune in it for a 4.8 with a 6.0 cam, so a late 4.8. So call it like a 2003, 2004 4.8. No DOD, and pretty much I'll be pulling that little 4.8 from back there, which it's got the white box on top of it, and that'll be my rotating assembly. I got a 6.0 cam I can toss in it. Between this motor and the other lifters I have that were out of that motor, I should have more than enough lifters. I can go through and pick the best ones. I have timing chain cover. I'll pull the back cover off of it. I'll throw a barbell in it. I am going to put a complete gasket kit in it because it's going to need it. But I want to clean that block up. I want to get it on the engine stand, get it painted. I'm still going to run a valley cover with the NOx sensors in it because it is going to be really close to stock. I'm not trying to make power out of this motor. I'm not trying to make anything crazy. And my goal is get that motor running. Once I have it running, do a 5.3. And I'll build a 5.3 in the stand. I'll build something with a cam, lifters. I'll make some power to drop it down in that place of that 5.7. And it should do fine when I go to do that. But I think it'll be okay with this 4.8. It ain't going to win no races. It ain't going to be nothing crazy. But it will very easily work and do what I need it to do and make it where I can drive the car around and it gets out of its own way. Once that's done and I have a 5.3 built, I'll pull the PCM out that's going to have VATs deleted and everything for this 4.8. I'll tag it with this 4.8. I'll throw it on an engine stand and it'll set back over in the corner until I need it for something else, and I'll drop the 5.3 in with a different computer and I'll go get it tuned and everything like that. And then I have a 4.8 laying around with a wiring harness, with a computer that will work. And basically do the same thing with 5.3 once I'm done, and I'll just run it around on the 5.3. I think it'll do really good, and I think that 5.3 will be a lot more fun in it. When I go to do it, I'll do a cam, and I'll probably throw a torque converter in it when I do it. That's got a 4L60. I'll just toss a 2500 stall converter in it and put a low-ish lift cam in it just because I'm going to care more about torque, because that freaking wagon's probably the same weight as a truck. It's going to need more torque than anything else, so I'll mess with that. But this is the start of the build. I went and picked this motor up today and started getting parts together. I've ordered some stuff. I found a company, they'll do a standalone, they'll do an integrated harness for my B-body. It is $1,300. No, excuse me. Their website says $1,300. I messaged them. It's $1,500. I pull my factory harness out and send it to them, and they give me back a harness for an LS with my stuff integrated. It's all plug and play. I've wired it up a couple standalones, but I'd never really integrated them into a newer car. It was all like old hot rod stuff I'd done LSs on. And went over the wiring schematics and went over everything, and it's really not going to be that hard because of how close that is to an LS. And what I mean by that is that it has the ABS wire where I'm going to be able to tag it out of an LS into that computer. It's going to have the correct wiring signal for the speedometer. It's very easily to wire up the oil pressure sensor and the temperature sensor into that car. And that was a lot of the research I was doing, was I want that car to still be 100% normal when you get in and drive it. I don't want external gauges. I want the dash stuff to work. So I spent some time figuring all that out, and I can do it. And I got online, ordered up a harness, found some cheap Amazon harness that had some decent reviews. A couple guys that were mechanics on there notated on it, hey, be sure to check this. I plan on stripping back all the convoluted tube off of it. I plan on pinning out the harness, making sure my injector 1 is injector 1, 2 is 2, 4 is 4, so on and so forth. I will pin everything out, make sure it's in the correct places, make sure that my fan 1 and 2 relays or my signal drops are in the correct places. Whatever's not, I'll adjust and I'll move on and I'll sit down. I just couldn't justify the $1,500 sending them my old harness, and then on top of that it was going to be 12 to 18 week lead time on that. And in 12 to 18 weeks, man, I want to be driving this car again. So luckily they made it pretty easy, where a lot of this stuff, it's just been done so many times that it's pretty straightforward and pretty self-sufficient. So I'm going to get this little 4.8 on the engine stand. The main thing I care about this 4.8 is the heads. So I'm going to yank the heads off of it, and then I'll take a look at the bottom end. If it's all rusted up and tore up, it's just going to go get set in the pile, and I'll pull the other 4.8 out and go. This motor, when it was taken out, was running and driving, did not burn oil, did not have issues or anything like that. So I want to pull the heads off. I want to lap the valves, check valve guides, make sure it doesn't need a valve job or something like that. I got brand new valve springs valve stem seals to put in. I got a set of like LS7, I think they're LS7 beehives that I'll throw on there, and that's just more of to accommodate for the 280 or 230,000 miles this thing has on it. Not so much for a lift or high lift cam or anything like that. So that's where I'm at, and that's where we're gonna go. So just I'll get the video running and we'll go from there. If I recall correctly, say it's from 97, when I was a teenager. My dad and me, our floor jack took a crap, and we were using an old school stand to build my big block, and it did not like the weight of my big block. Bought that engine stand to replace it, and I'm afraid that I had to buy an engine stand to replace it, and we needed a jack. Because I made a deal with my dad, I'd buy one if he bought the other, and we'd share them. 2018 or so, it was finally, all right, which one do you want? You got to pick. You could either keep the engine stand or So we shared them for 20 some odd years. He hadn't really been building anything in that time. I did miscellaneous, but nothing real major. So I got the engine stand. I was kind of happy about that. I've used this thing quite often. It does nearly much motor work. It's gotten into Crown Vic swapping up 100s. He's got, I think, 4 of them going on right now, maybe 3. Bring you over here. Getting closer on this, but first open of this motor. So it's been outside for a year or 2, and it was like right under the eave of the house by the garage. So I'm wondering if like water was coming off the eave and going straight into the motor. Oh, that is actually relatively clean. Dang. That is all really good. If I pull the heads on this and this bottom end looks good, I'm just putting gaskets in this thing and putting it right back together, because if the bottom end looks as good as that, I have the old style one piece. I don't like these two-piece ones because they cap off the backs. When you're in salvage yards, find the early trucks, like 99, 2000, 2001, I think. You can, the metal one that lays in here and it links them all together. And if you're not wanting to do an aftermarket one, that's what I recommend. I'm going to set the plugs down there. Just gonna set these back in because I'm going to need them again. Now, while I have these heads off, I will be blacking on valve springs, all the normal stuff that I would do. Actually, let me tighten this down. But if you have this thing under that eave and they didn't get a whole bunch of water down the cylinders, it can be, what is this? 6. It's got an open valve right now. Three's got on the valve. Yeah, there may be a little corrosion down in those heads. Let's see what the cylinders look like. Should I be cheap and try to reuse plugs? I always keep the old bolts. Use them to build things, use them to hold something together. Wouldn't reuse them for head bolts, but. So this was in 2002. Was what year this truck was. And yep. So has the 3 link bolts, 2 link bolts, whatever you want to call it. It's got the 2 shorter outers. Oh, this motor's good. All right. Yeah. Man, if it wasn't for that cylinder, that would have been good. Oh, wow, man. This thing is clean. Super, super clean. And clean the head up. Let me show you. So Everything was good other than one that had the open intake. Take this side off now. So push rods aren't covered in sludge or anything like that. No rust on anything other than that cylinder. I'm not super worried about it. So what I really cared about on this motor is lifters if they're still good, lifter trays if they're still good, rockers, heads, basically just the valve train is really what I needed to toss my bottom end 4.8 together. Now, my bottom end 4.8, ooh, 2 cylinders on that one. Yep, junk. I'll clean those heads up though. Mine, one of my friend's son moved out here to go to school, and he was out here. He had a full-size Chevy truck, and his truck ate a lifter. And we found him. He told me he had a 5.3. I hadn't checked. He was going to school to be a motorcycle mechanic, so I didn't really double check any of his work. I just went off of what he told me. And he had a 4.8, and we ended up finding him a 5.3. And we dropped a 5.3 in it. And that's how I ended up with that little 4.8. He needed a couple of parts, and he was kind of broke and put his truck together. And he would come over and hang out, and he would hang out at the house. We'd feed him. 18-year-old kid, a little bit older than my son. He was trying to do something with his life. So I didn't dog him for any of that, and did what I could to help him. He needed some money, and I was like, hey, give me your little 4.8 that's junk, and I'll eventually do something with it, and I'll buy you your parts, what you need. And he was like, done. So I traded him that stuff for that, and he just left the 4.8 with me, and going back to Kansas and everything. He's got a kid now, got a job, all that kind of stuff. Drove that truck around for a while, and then he blew up the 4L60. Not for sure if he still has it. It was the last time I talked to him. And all this stuff still looks really good. On my top end is what I was needing is good. We'll probably just give all this stuff a bath and clean it up. And I don't know about you guys, when I'm working on something like this, if I want to clean stuff, I use mineral spirits, and I flush everything out and get all the debris off of it. It doesn't mess anything up. It seems to work pretty good. Clean up blocks and then paint them after they dry, and all kinds of stuff. Hardly any. Little wear. I mean, let me rephrase that. No abnormal wear. Where I'm worried about any of these parts. Lifter trays are still solid, not like sliding out. A lot of times you get a high mileage or something that's been beat on or something like that, and the lifters don't want to stay in the tray. They want to fall out. You go to like flip them over and put them down in. just walk out. So I want the knock sensors in that wiring. I need this harmonic balancer. Pretty much I am using this motor for whenever I can. I want to say it's a 24. We're going to see how good this rigid works now. Because for stuff like this is what I bought it for. Oh man. I have not had an LS balancer bolt come off like that, and I don't know how long. That was sweet. I don't know if that was necessarily the impact, but that wasn't hard. You got this little OTM glitter puller set. These are to remove Dodge and Chevy harmonic balancers. If I recall correctly. You know if it's not the short one. This was a cheap balancer remover. I want to say I paid like 35 bucks for it. Probably used it 10 times. Seems to work good. Pretty expensive. I just made sure I greased everything. Now, if I wanted to be super cheap, looking at it, this does not have what I feel to be an excessive amount of wear. I could pull these gears, reuse them, and put a new chain on it and buy a chain for 15 bucks. I want to say it's $22 for the factory AC Delco chain. I want to see cam bearings. I want to see how they look. Another place where people mess up. This seal right here, like, this is a gasket. You should replace these cam plates. It's not expensive, even for like factory AC Delco ones or anything, they're not expensive. Yeah, into brass. Rough on the top, smooth on the bottom. Damn, so many LSs are that way. There's a lot of jokes out there about how do you get away with not doing cam bearings in a LS. Don't look at them. That is how you get away with it. You have to not look. If you look, and I'll show you, it is, I should be replacing cam bearings. And I don't get how so many people don't. Yeah. Okay.
Hi. Sound fun? What's wrong with the motor?
I got this one for parts.
Oh.
There's
So
stuff on
these
it.
parts are interchangeable?
Yeah, all the parts are the same on LSs.
But that's an LT, not an LS in the Caprice.
No, but the LS that I have sitting over here is what I'm putting in place of the LT.
Oh.
All right, so here's what I'm talking about with LS bearings. Look at that side, like no touching, but you turn around, you look at the top, and the top's got some weird color in it. Bottom's just done. And I almost guarantee all those bearings back there look that way. I don't know why I'm pulling those. So I don't need a valley cover, I have one. Knock sensors are corroded. I'm gonna snag an OE factory crank sensor. So I'm going to take OE factory cam sensor. So that'll still be good. We'll pull that full pressure sensor. Now, a lot of this stuff is reused, but it also depends on your harness and your computer and everything like that. But that's pretty much all I'm going to use from this motor. I will go through and cut it before it runs the whole thing. I will now go through here and pretty much take all the bolts I want. We'll do all of them. So, because of that bolt down there, I can't get that off. These I want to keep because I don't know if I have the oil pump bolts on my motor or not. Everything I'm going to reuse, I'm putting in that one over there. So I know I have it. And let's see how big of a mess this makes when I rotate it over. Because I'm pretty sure he wouldn't drain the oil on it. But so, like that. There's a little mystery oil. It's not really a mystery. It's turbine oil. We use in aerospace. It eats everything like rust and all kinds of shit. So, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that one all the way up. It's not liking it. Buy it sometimes to be happy. There we go. Alright. Got it around. Now what we're going to do, not reuse this crank bolt. So I'm going to screw with it. Move it around a few times. honestly, it's a small block Chevy. We could probably make this run. Without being super happy, it may burn a little bit of oil. I burned some oil doing it, but we would do it. I'm not trying to get a bit torque on this thing or anything like that. So. Honestly, I could probably get that with a Humvee. Maybe something it up and out there. Oh, good run, I wouldn't be happy though. But it's free spinning. I mean, bore it and throw some pistons in it, and you have another good motor. Yeah, good work, good run. Wouldn't be happy.